So let me ask you, what are you telling your brain about yourself? And I'll give you a perfect example. When I used to be a psychology professor, students would come in. One of the first things that we would talk about is like, who is a bad test taker, right? And all these people would raise their hand. And throughout the semester, all I did was that I did a happy test every time they came to class. And then I reinforced that they were actually good at taking tests. So at the end of the semester, most of the students would say how their test anxiety had gone down, how they shifted, and how they were doing better in school and all these different things. The same thing happened. I was contracted to go in schools to work with kids in elementary schools that were told that they were problem children, basically behavioral issues and all these different things. And the teachers, parents would ask me, what are you doing to them, right? That is making such a big impact. And the only thing I was doing was that I would talk to them. I would sit them and reinforce all the positive things about them. Like I would give them a high five. Oh, you're such a good team member, or you did this right, everything was positive. And the reason I would do that was because the reality is that we hear 30 negatives to each positive statistically. And so we get raised this way. So we already have all these negative affirmations about ourselves. So what happens is that when you tell yourself you are something, I am this, I am bad at this, I am bad at that, then your brain actually makes it happen. So what would happen with those students? When they would go to take a test, then they would get anxious because they already told their brain that this is who they are. So the reality is that if you want to change who you are, first you also have to change the terminology you use about yourself and the identity that you've created with some of the things that you've done, right? Because maybe you have failed at this, but you're not a failure. That was just part of life experience. Maybe you weren't as good at something, but it doesn't define you. And what we do is that we define ourselves by that. So again, one of the most simple things that you could do is just become aware of the terminology that you use by yourself. What are you telling your brain? And catch yourself. If you say something negative about yourself, then catch yourself and try to replace it with something more positive, something more empowering, something that's going to actually drive you to become the best version of yourself. Because that's not who you are. We can all change, we can all grow, we can all develop, we can all seek to improve ourselves. But the only thing that we have to do, first of all, is to remind ourselves who we really are. And we're an amazing beings, that we're capable and we have all the possibilities of creating whatever life we want to create.